Well, hello and welcome back to our Brizy Global Blocks mini-series, and this is part 2, where we will be diving into the pro versions for both WordPress and Cloud. It's more or less exactly the same. More or less exactly the same. And then at the end of this mini course, the last one, we will cover some special use cases for Brizy Cloud. My name is JP, and remember to give us a like for this video to keep our inspiration and motivation super high, and also subscribe. And if you want to know more about Brizy, visit us at brizy.io. There is a dozen of links in the description below, so go check out what you can do with Brizy. Let's talk then about global blocks in the pro version. And I'm going to use Cloud here as my example, but everything I'm going to do here also works in WordPress. I recommend you also go watch the first part in our series so that you understand the basics of what a global block is and test it out in the free versions. As before, I have set up a multi-page website, and global blocks only really makes sense when you have a multi-page website. If you just have a one-pager or a landing page you're only going to use for that instance, global blocks really wouldn't come into play unless you are using that landing page with the same header and footer. In the project, I can quickly show you what pages we have here. I think I've set up like 5 pages here for this site. In DDO, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are the usual suspects, not so usual maybe for pricing, but we have home, about, classes, pricing, and contact. This is a fitness store or a yoga store. We will probably find our contact form on the contact page. And what I want to achieve is to use that contact form on all my pages. Edit the page, and in WordPress, you know how to navigate with the page editor to get into the builder. Very standard, what you would expect from a page. And here we have this contact form. What I want to do is add this contact form to each and every page. And then in the future, if I make any changes, I move address, or I join the mission to Mars, then I want to make the update only on one place, and it will update on all the other places at the same time. To activate it, we go to the settings of the block, all the way to the left, toggle on the switch, make it global. In this instance, because we are using the pro version, we get this screen that tells us conditions. What is a condition? When we talk about a global block, we need to tell this global block, where do we want you to appear? There is a reason we're making it a global block. We don't only want it to appear on one page. We want it to appear on at least 2 pages or on the entire site. And the reason for that is so that when we make that change, we can just sync it with all the other global blocks. By default, it's going to give you that page as a condition. It says that this global block must be included on pages, but only on the contact page. So basically this page. It's not going to appear currently on any of the other pages. It will only appear on this page. But we want to set it to appear on all the pages. So what we do is we go to pages, and you can select it again, not necessary, but you will see when I select it, it will automatically go to all on this side. If you want to go back to the pages, go to the drop down and you will see specific pages, home, about, classes, pricing, and contact, and you can set it again here. But our purpose here is to get it on all the pages. This is the standard working default for how you work with global blocks. So let's do that. Save, close it. I'm not sure whether I should save the page again, but my goosebumps on the back of my neck tells me yes, I have to. So I'll just do that. Control S, Command S. And this was our Contact Us page, for which we expect this form to be here. That's where we got it. Now, I'll jump over to my home page, which is open on the front end. And then what I'll do, let me first show you that there is no contact form here at the bottom, right? I'm going to refresh it. 2 things to take note of here. 1, after I've reloaded this page, you're going to see that the contact form will appear. Let's scroll to the bottom. And that brings us to point number 2. Every time you create a new global block and you assign it to any other page on your site, it will be inserted at the bottom. If you do not want it to be in the bottom, you want it to be between other blocks, you will have to go into the builder and just move it. But here we go. There it is. This is the one that I've set up, and this is on the Contact Us page. And now it has also been assigned to appear on the home page. This seems like quite a drag. I've got 5 pages here, but I don't have a header here, so navigation is limited. And the reason is that in part 3, we're going to look at the header and footer global blocks. There's a little bit of extra functionality for those two. So we will bring in that global block for the header so we can make navigation easy between these pages. Tracy said she hasn't watched the first part yet, so I'll quickly explain what happens once you turn a block into a global block. The first thing is you get this little icon at the top, that little blue icon there with a globe inside it, and that tells us that this block is a global block. Any changes you make to this one that is connected to another one, like this one, it will sync across your site. The second thing is you will note that if we go to the options all the way to the left, Make It Global is switched on, and that you have display conditions. Selected, it gets us into the conditions screen where we can set the conditions, and we will look at extra and exclusion in a short while. Let's close this out. To test if this is truly a global block very easily, I'll go to the global block. Let's change the background. I'll put it on this color so it's not too much of a big change. Let's put this one a little bit darker. Let's make this font bigger. Let's change the submit button color. And now we've made these changes. This is what I've switched it to now, and previously it looked like this. Once I save this, which is update here on the bottom, Control S, Command S, and I go to my other pages, I reload them, you will see those changes are there. No need for us to go and update them. Absolutely awesome, brilliant, splendid. There we go. Hop back into our builder. Let's go to the CMS dashboard, which will be in your WordPress dashboard, and have a look at the pages. I will select classes to edit it. And the reason is that I do not want this global block to appear on this page. I want it to appear on all the other pages except this one. Scroll to the bottom because that's where we expect the global block to appear. Go to the settings all the way to the left, select display conditions. And what we do is we add a new display condition. Currently it's set to appear on all our pages, but we do not want it to appear on this one, which is our classes. Click on Add New Display Condition, and then click on Include. This switches it to Exclude. This case, you cannot have these two conditions. They just don't match. Select the drop-down on the right, and the specific page will be my classes page. Save it. Close out. I'll click on Update, and you will see just by excluding it on this page, it has already been removed. I don't even need to delete it here. I've already told the condition to remove it, and it's not on this page available anymore. Where do we find this global block? Technically, it is a saved block with those conditions added. Let's go to add a new block, and here from the block manager at the top, we have layouts, our blocks, and then saved blocks, and then global blocks, which is this super saved global block. So you can see I've saved previously these guys that I'm not using anymore, so I'll just delete them. And this is the one that we've just created. When I click on this global block, think of what I am doing. I am adding it back on this page that I have just removed it from. And you remember we had those conditions. The one condition was to include it on all the pages, but the second condition was to exclude it on the classes page. So what do you anticipate is going to happen when I select it now? I'll select it. It drops it onto my classes page. And this is the test. What will my conditions be now? Here is the good news. The conditions are intelligent. We told someone to work very hard to make sure this works very well. So if you go to your conditions now and you click on it, you will see it says pages all. How smart is that? Pretty smart, right? So it understands that you have added all your blocks, or well, all these global blocks to all your pages. It updates the condition for you automatically. That's really great. You can play around with this. You can remove it there, and you will see how these conditions work. For example, let's close this one and go to the block settings and delete it. I didn't change the conditions. I just deleted the block. Click on Update. And then we go to our dashboard of our pages and we select another page. I'll go to the home page. Click Edit to go into the page. Scroll to the bottom. Go to our block settings all the way to the left. Display conditions. You see it says 2. So it has 2 conditions. And now it will tell us that it has not been included on pages classes. I didn't even change the condition. I purely just deleted the block. And the conditions were smart enough to say, hey, now it is not included anymore on the classes page. So we have to exclude it. Pretty smart. And you can see you can add more conditions here if you want to exclude it on any other page. Let's say you want to exclude it on the pricing page as well. You want to add something else. Awesome way to take this superpower and control what goes on with the global blocks. It's pure global block domination. Let's close this and talk quickly about removing the global blocks across your page. The big mistake that people make in the free and pro version is to think that when they go into the block manager, add new block, and they go to global blocks, and they delete the global block from here, they also will remove it from the pages. That's not how it works. And that's why I kind of recommend that you think of this area as a saved block area. The conditions do not apply here. Where it goes on the site does not apply here. This is purely a safe area for where the global block can be accessed and inserted again. To get that global block to be removed from all your pages, in the free version, you actually had to go and delete it by page. But in the pro version, it is super duper easy. Hold on tight. Let's go to the block settings at the top, all the way to the left, display conditions. All you need to do is simply delete all the conditions. That's it. And click save. And look at that. It's been removed. You don't even have to say exclude all. That's what we used to do in the past. You simply delete each and every condition. Now the fear may be gripping your throat at this moment like, oops, I didn't want to do that. I still want it on all of my pages. And that's why you go back to the block manager, add a new block, global blocks, and you can add it from here. And once you add it, you just need to go make sure that you set up those conditions. But by default, it's going to apply it to the page that you've just added it. This is the only page that has it now. So we go ahead and put it back on all. If I'm going a little bit fast on this, I recommend that you watch it just one more time. But the best way to learn this is to play with it again and again. These conditions aren't challenging, but they really is superpower, and they speed it up so easily to create these syncing blocks across your site. Great for advertisements, promos, and deals that you have, and like in this case, contact forms. If I then go ahead and change my contact form, I want to go back to something like a white background, change the text at the top, and put in some other flair to make it look good, and I click on update, it's going to look the same on all the other pages. A very important aspect of global blocks, once you set that condition to appear on all pages, is to understand what will happen when you create a new page. We will look at that again in the next video when we talk about the global headers and the global footers. But let's have a look at what happens when you create a new page. We go to our pages section, and then we have our 5 pages, and I'll just add a new page, and I'll call this demo 1 page, and click on save changes. Before I even click on edit, you should know what you are going to see here. Going into the page, we have assigned that global block to appear on all our pages. So that contact form should be here, and there it is. If you don't want it to be a global block on this page, you have 2 ways of doing it. First of all, you can go to the global block settings, to the display conditions, and change it over here. You can say all pages and then add a new display condition to exclude it on this page, which is our demo 1. On the other hand, and I'll delete this one, the easiest way actually is just to go to the global block and delete it. Another thing that you also have to take into consideration is that when you unlink a global block, you go to the top, all the way to the left, and toggle off Make It Global Switcher. Now you have an independent block like any other block across your site within the builder. Any changes you make here will not affect the global block. You can make many crazy updates here. If you get to a point where you want to link it, the simple thing to do is go ahead, delete this one, and then simply go to the global blocks and insert it. And now you have again a global block on this page, which is linked to all the others. That brings us to the end of this session on our mini series for global blocks, which applies to Brizy Cloud and Brizy WordPress. And this is only available in the pro version, these conditions. We're going to see how that really takes us to the max in the next session, part 3, where we will talk about the header blocks and the footer blocks that have their own functionality when it comes to global blocks. And then in part 4, we will look at something Brizy Cloud specific, how you can use global blocks for your blogging and your assets. A reminder again to subscribe to YouTube, give us a like, and for the latest news and updates, hop on over to brizy.io. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.